This is Unscrupled, covering Buffy the Vampire Slayer, Season 1, Episode 5, Never Kill a Boy on the First Date. In this episode, Buffy doesn't get laid and magically has a bra appear between scenes.
Wait, what?
Welcome to Unscrupled. Yes, she had, like, when she was trying on that hideous pale green thing, she was clearly not wearing a bra, and when she arrived at the club, she was.
Wow. The fact that you notice women's undergarments more than I do, I think is a testament to my lack of paying attention.
It was just so fucking 90s, and I get that you have the nostalgia feel, but there was a lot of questionable 90s fashion choices happening in this episode.
Okay. Well, much like a vampire, I can't see when it's bad because it's mine.
Okay. So, hi listeners. You're probably wondering why I'm immediately taking a big giant dump on this episode when the fucking praying mantis I was okay with.
No, they aren't. They know. They did this to us.
Part of me wants to go back and watch the praying mantis and wonder if the fact that I had just had a date that ended well may have made my mood a little better about the first one, because this was some trash.
No, the praying mantis one is actually much better than this one. This one, even I, who loved this show, was like watching it and thinking to myself, oh, God. Yeah. There are some good points, and they're mostly, Buffy's one-liners. But, yeah, overall, this one, because it goes back into the Master and all of that.
Yeah, the Master is not interesting, and the cinematography takes a dive. So I'm starting to wonder if this might be one of those Firefly-esque episodes that was aired out of order when it was filmed. Because there was a lot of backsliding on the progress, just as far as film language goes.
I think they just had a lot of stunt directors.
Okay.
So people they could get on the cheap. Sometimes you get someone who is a young Alfred Hitchcock, and sometimes you get someone who is just young.
Sometimes you get Kevin Smith old.
Oh,
I went there. So
yeah, you did. Yeah, that's shade, but it's shade against Kevin Smith, so who cares?
Yeah.
I'm never forgiving him for chasing Amy. What the fuck, dude?
I'm never forgiving him for being terrible. So
for just because he was born.
And that's not really fair, because when he's on his podcast and he's talking about feminism and when he's talking about his life, he's fine. He's just not a good director. And that's okay.
Okay, yeah, it doesn't make him a bad person.
No, it's like he's bad
Being
director.
bad at your job doesn't make you inherently worthless as a human. Just means you're bad at your job.
And I think the sad part is, and why I'm not as hard on him, is that I think he knows that.
Interesting. Okay, so you think he knows he's a bad director. So why does he keep insisting on directing stuff?
I don't think he does. I think he's never had a success outside of the View Askew universe.
Well, he's also a writer though, and he stars in it all. So I mean, like, he's got enough jobs. He doesn't need to do everything.
I don't know. It's if you really care about my opinion on Kevin Smith, listeners, you should be listening to Movie Bob and his tale of the fall of Kevin Smith, and how we all didn't realize that he wasn't very competent because he came out at the same time as Quentin Tarantino, is one of those new voices who looked at things a different way and kind of challenged movie conventions.
Yeah, it could have been avant-garde, and it could have been crap, and it turned out it was crap.
It turned out it was dick and fart jokes. Only it didn't have, like, the nerds were cool and relatable, you know? So
Well, I really liked Dogma, but I'm predisposed to like Dogma, but that movie did not age well. Holy crap, did it not age well.
did it? I was going to watch it again just to see, because I feel like that was the pinnacle. But we are way the fuck off topic, because...
We could absolutely watch Dogma again next time I'm over, by the way.
Okay.
Okay. Anyway, so go on.
Yeah, so it opens with Buffy fighting someone who I hated the makeup job on this dude. I hated it. It looked like it was trying to be an Asian vampire, and it just exaggerated the features and looked too much like that Breakfast and Tiffany's guy.
Oh, yeah.
And I had a sour taste in my mouth this entire episode, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So...
Yeah. Okay.
And I forget what exactly happens next, even though I started watching this like less than an hour ago, but... Yeah, the Master is not interesting.
No. Not even a little bit.
He's a poor actor. The makeup is, like, his nostrils. I kept getting distracted that, like, his nostrils are kind of pinched shut and there's a crease in them. They're shaped like a T.
Yeah.
He doesn't... I mentioned this before in the first episode, that Luke speaks with a lot more gravitas and a lot more ancient cadence than the Master does. He feels like... Not like a bad guy, a vampire who's been around for years. He feels like a bad guy on Hercules. Not Xena, Hercules.
Gotcha. Yes. I know exactly what you mean. Hercules was even more hokey than Xena, and that is saying something.
Uh-huh.
So I think the nose thing is because noselessness is inherently creepy as shit. See Voldemort.
But it wasn't creepy. It was distracting.
Okay. And I think you're absolutely right. For someone who has been, buried in a church for 100 years, he has a remarkably modern cadence.
Yeah.
His pauses are all wrong.
Does he get Netflix in there? Has he been like catching up on Fresh Prince of Bel-Air? And
it was 96. There was no Netflix.
Oh, fuck. Well, then I don't understand it.
He might have had TGI Fridays if he had, a TV with rabbit ears, because then you could get the major networks, but I don't think he had cable. Who knows though? I mean, really, who's to say?
That's a good point, and I kind of want some jalapeno poppers now, even though TGI Fridays is terrible.
No, you remember when you were just a wee lad? And,
I do. You're ruining my bit. Stop it.
Yeah, because your bit is terrible. And jalapeno poppers are terrible.
I'm breaking up with you right now. That's it, listeners. Wrap it up.
It's over.
It's over.
Get the van.
And speaking of the van, there's what appears to be a homeless dude talking shit in the back of a shuttle bus for some reason.
Okay, yeah, so he doesn't look homeless to me. He just kind of looks like a crazy religious drifter. And who amongst us hasn't run into one of those? Am I right?
Yeah, but I did like how they dressed him and his acting. He did give the distinct impression that he probably smelled bad, and that's hard to do. So, we have White Lady and her kid, who I thought might have been Haley Joel Osment, but wasn't.
Definitely wasn't.
Okay.
Definitely wasn't him.
Yeah, I got that towards the end, and then there
but
was
he had that kind
black
of like
lady.
punchable face.
Yeah. Have you seen what he looks like lately? He does not look good.
Oh yeah, he had an anti-Neville.
Oh, an anti-Neville? What's a Neville?
Neville.
Neville?
Okay, so the actor that
Neville
plays
not Neville Chamberlain.
No.
Neville Longbottom.
Yeah, the actor that plays Neville in the movies started out as like the dorkiest of all possible children, and turned into this smoking hot fox.
Ah.
Like I'd consider it.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Like he did a photo shoot in just his tidy whities, and JK like tweeted at him or whatever you call it now. It's like, dude, warning, Jesus, fuck. I've known you since you were 11. Ah!
Okay, yeah, so there's Kid, there's ubiquitous black lady, who doesn't even get a chance to give some side-eye. Like, I kind of feel like she didn't know that she was in the shot. She might have got on the bus thinking that this was the bus to out of Rancho Cucamonga.
Well, if you're going to Rancho Cucamonga, you generally have a reason, because no one just goes there just to go there. And Sunnydale is much the same, because it's a one Starbucks town. There's no real reason to go there unless you're either a minion of evil or, transferred there for work.
Okay, but this lady, she has no reaction to any, so it makes me wonder if the extra slash actress just, like, wasn't one at all, was just on the bus for some reason. Like, the budget is so low that they're actually filming at 3 a.m. on a bus.
I think she'd just be like, man, white people acting a fool again. What the hell? Just shut up, dude. I'm trying to get to my sister-in-law's house. She's having a baby, and I can't be having with this shit.
Okay.
So yeah, she just isn't reacting because it's like a day for her.
And the bus driver crashes the bus, and the editing was terrible.
Yes, it was.
And so, and I noticed a fucking plot hole. If the kid is not dead, if his body's been taken away to what you just spoiled me on was beneath a church somewhere.
I didn't spoil you. They mentioned it in the first goddamn episode.
Oh, well, yeah, I tried to forget it. Didn't work. Anyway,
well,
there's the black lady, there's the mom, there's the bus driver, and there's the homeless dude. If the kid is shanghaied out of there, who's the fifth body? If they found 5 bodies, which they said in the paper.
Okay. Mom, kid, black lady, driver. There might have been a fifth, and homeless dude.
Those are the 5, but the kid
5.
the kid wasn't there.
Well, the kid, they said 5 must die for the anointed one. Well, you've seen the whole episode, right? And
yeah, I've seen the whole episode, and the kid is the kid is in the basement of the church at this point. So if he's been there, why did they find 5 bodies?
So remember what I said about... Okay, so...
You can't tell me. You can't tell me because it's a spoiler.
I don't know if it is or not. I'm just shocked you didn't make this leap.
What, was he supposed to be in the funeral home?
No. Okay, so vampires hanging out with a kid who's the anointed one.
Okay.
What's the first thing you're going to do to this kid?
You're going to turn him?
Yeah.
Okay, well, yeah, I figured. The kid's a fucking vampire.
Okay, so when you turn someone, first you drink their blood, then they drink your blood, and then they die for a while, and then they rise again as vampire the next night. It takes a little bit of time for you to become a vampire. It's not instantaneous. That's why they made that one dude, the homeless guy. They made him a vampire, and he was in the morgue, right? He was dead. They found his body.
So the kid went to the morgue too?
Possibly. Or possibly they just let his body be found so it could marinate or whatever, and they picked him up later.
God,
because they wanted him to rise amongst family.
This terminology is not good for my appetite. I forget what I said about... forget the jalapeno poppers. Marinating dead children is just... Where the fuck is Darla, too? I wanted a face I could recognize, but she's not around. So...
I'm sure she's busy somewhere, eating puppies or something.
Okay. Yeah, so apparently there's a prophecy about this shit, and so and he just happens to have... This is a very poor choice of prophecy usage. That the prophecy will be very spelled out and will be to a degree of accuracy that you can predict within a few days, but will be so fucking mundane about the anointed one, and there will be 5 dead bodies. It's go away.
Well, I hate prophecy so damn much that I really don't mind this prophecy being very straightforward, because Yeah, the whole, oh my gosh, is this fulfilling the prophecy thing that they do with, like, in most shows, that they do with every damn thing that happens? It's like, oh wait, but that has 8 legs. It could reference the sacred spider that's going to grasp the chalice, and the chalice is this trough that we were feeding our horses out of. It's like, fuck you, just shut up about your prophecy and live your life.
Yeah, I think everyone in this show could stand to hear that from someone they respect. So
obviously not me.
Yeah. So Giles is obsessed with this prophecy that he thinks is going to happen, and
yeah, because the Knights of Aurelius are in town apparently.
The Knights of Aurelius, which is just a rant. Is this the name of the Master's cult?
It's the name of some random bullshit.
Okay.
Or
so
is it?
He has what looks to be a total of 4 vampires on his side still. One of them gets killed in the very first shot.
Yeah.
One of them gets thrown across the room as to be made an example of, but he doesn't dust. So I wonder if this fucker's still alive. And the other 2 just sort of stand there menacingly all the time.
Yeah, the vampires don't get a lot of action in this. They pretty much cause a bus crash, make some new vampires, and like, you know, that's their job. The only big fight, I think, the only big fight was between homeless dude, vampire, and Buffy, right?
Yeah, there was the first one, which was
okay.
Actually,
yeah,
it went on way too long. But then there was this bullshit fight.
What did you think about Giles critiquing her fighting? It's like sloppy. She's like, "What do you mean? He's dust." It's like,
I don't know. I feel a bit like, he can't fight, can he? But that doesn't mean he doesn't.
I suppose we'll find out.
That doesn't mean he doesn't have valuable input, though.
Well, yeah, because like, you know, some of the best coaches are not themselves the best athletes. Critique is a skill unto itself.
So it reminds me of a Tumblr post I saw where what they need on the Food Network is a cooking show where the judges have no culinary experience whatsoever. And then they need a different cooking show where the contestants have no cooking experience whatsoever.
They already have that.
So we've not seen oh god, the ingredients tomatoes. I don't even like tomatoes. What the fuck? So
yeah, it's like, what the hell are you doing with a fish head? That's not food.
Anyway, yeah, Giles I didn't really feel one way or another about it. I'm getting this really paternalistic vibe off Giles, and I get that she's a teenager and needs male guidance, but Giles, you're still a creepy asshole. You're the librarian who keeps hanging out with a 15-year-old girl in her downtime.
I think she's 16 at this point, but yeah. Well, that's why, like, there was that scene where Owen comes to pick her up, and he's like, and you'll have that library book back by tomorrow.
I gotta say, every time she said Owen, I heard Natasha's voice. I'm like, oh god, it'd have to be the name Owen, because,
Owens happened, man. You just gotta go with it.
Yeah, and he looks like Owen Wilson's dumber brother.
Yeah, for someone that they were trying to make out to be so intellectual, he looked dumber than a bowl of mice.
He was dumber than a bowl of mice. Just because you like Emily Dickinson doesn't mean that you're smart.
This is true. It means you're maudlin.
Yeah, and you're like a head taller than Buffy, so I don't know much about how female genitalia works, but I get the feeling with my own experiences, if you're a head taller, your dick ain't fitting in that hole. It's just the bitch is not deep enough. So
okay, so if you're gonna go there, I have to say that some of the shortest women that I've been with could take the most in terms of size.
Length or girth?
Yes. And it wasn't like it because, you know, vaginas are like a pup tent. You know, it starts out tight. You got to work up to it, but you could work them up to way more than you could work some of the other people with. Like, just saying, you can't tell by the size and shape of a woman what her what her internal dimensions are. There's just no way until you get in there and find out.
Yeah, you got to take a plaster cast and compare.
Just bring some surveying equipment, a sextant.
A sextant.
That's right, I did it. That will be my.
You finally made the sextant sex joke. It's been a long time coming, and it's just sitting there, but you can't because it's a fucking protractor for the sky. How does that get sexy?
And yet I have done it. Forgive me.
All right.
This may be my proudest day.
Okay, so she's got a crush on this guy named Owen, who we have never seen before. Mm-hmm. So, you're sounding a little quiet, baby. Can you?
I can talk louder, and I can, move that to there. Yeah, see, I had to take a drink of whiskey, and that means I. Anyway, keep going.
All right, so she's got a crush on this guy named Owen, and so does Cordelia.
Cordelia just wants, to own everything. Yeah.
Yeah, I've already said that there is no heads or tails to be made out of Cordelia, but it's the scene I actually want to discuss is the getting ready for going to the Bronze Club scene, where she's choosing her outfits, and I forget what the first one looks like, but the second aggressive and slutty one, neon tie-dye floral print is not any of those adjectives. No.
Well.
No.
The 90s.
No. You are bad at this.
I'm a lesbian. I wear conservative flannel.
I'm not talking to you. I'm talking to Show. Show, you are bad at this. Stop it.
They do get better. They settle into a thing, and the slutty gets slutty, and the not slutty gets less horrifying.
And she wears that fucking pale green thing with a pink jacket. God. Why?
Oh, man.
You look like a tropical starburst. Go away.
I was going to go with a push-up. You know those Flintstones push-ups that were 2 flavors?
I don't know.
What I went with.
There's that green that should be just... I don't know if you remember, but when Sydney wore the ShamWow dress, it's almost the same shade. And
yeah. That green just cannot be pulled off by a white woman.
It really can't. And it's just terrible. So, and she's not wearing a bra, which I'm like, why are Sarah Michelle Gellar's titties out? Because this is creeping me out, because the woman's supposed to be 16 here. I don't know how old she actually was, but they did film her to show her, being kind of short and small in a lot of these scenes. I don't know if they're going to change that up when she gets a little older.
No, she is a tiny, tiny animal the entire run of the show.
Okay.
I wonder how tall she is in real life.
To the internet.
To the internets. Pardon me, well, Google.
Yeah.
No, vamp for a while.
Okay, I'm vamping. So Xander clearly has a crush on her, and Buffy seems to refuse to acknowledge it, which is a bit of a problem.
The moment she acknowledges it, she has to deal with his feelings, and there's no way to do that kindly. I have been in this situation more often than I care to admit, and yeah, pretty much it's if they... Okay, do you remember a guy in college with an S name that I did not live with that drove us nuts?
I remember one that you did live with.
Yeah, but this is a different one. That one was remarkably cool in this way, and Sarah Michelle Gellar is 5'4". Anyway, so there was this guy, and he had a crush on a different person every other week, but he had a monster one on me.
Oh,
yeah.
Was this the Mr. or Mrs.?
Mr.
Okay.
But anyway, and it wasn't a Spike.
It wasn't a Spike. Fuck.
No,
Can we give the Spike background? Because I've told that story before and people do not believe it.
Oh, well, okay, we'll get there in a minute. But anyway, so this guy had a monster crush on me, and I was, casually ignoring it because I wanted to be his friend, but I'm a lesbian and he's a cisgendered guy. And he's definitely not one that would be on the list. Was not attracted to him on any level whatsoever. I just, we were friendly, and that was great. And then he, admitted that he had this monster crush on me, and then after that he had this expectation that I was supposed to, give him something extra for that. I don't know what he wanted from me because he was never going to get a date. Because that's just not where I was. I thanked him for the information and said, I'm not there, and, tried to move on. And he kept, just with weird, subtle guilt trips, and it's doing the nice guy thing really aggressively. It's but I'm your friend. I put niceness in. It doesn't sex fall out. And he couldn't see that that's what he was doing, so it was even worse because he's also a social justice warrior. And it was just so obnoxious. And this is a pattern that happens with a certain kind of dude where if they don't recognize that friendship is not, a path to sex or love, it's a path to friendship, they can get really, really awkward once you've acknowledged the thing.
Wow, he was a fuckboy. Okay. You're going to need to send me his name because I do not remember this guy at all.
Oh, you do. You just don't know it. I will text it to you right now.
Okay. But we have to tell the Spike story because there were two Spikes at the Rainbow Center. And
there were.
The one was a man and one was a woman. And the one that was a man was assigned female at birth, and the one that was a woman was assigned male at birth. So it was just fuck the fuck up. It was...
Yeah, they were the dichotomy of Spike. And one was African American, and one was very, very white. And yeah, it was just, there was this one time when they were sitting at different computers in the Rainbow Center across from each other, and I just looked, and we didn't have camera phones then, or it would have taken a picture. But it was just so perfect. And I'm like, oh my God, it's the dichotomy of Spike. And they look up and they look at each other and they just start cackling. It was fantastic.
I need to correct you there. We had camera phones. There were camera phones. We just couldn't afford them.
Excellent point. We couldn't afford government cheese. What are you talking about? We were so poor.
Yes. So that is it. How did we get here? Oh yeah, Xander's stupid crush. And Xander's fucking weird polka dot green and blue fashion choices.
Okay, so a lot of Xander's role in this show was to be less ridiculous and obviously the lesser choice, and be realizing that he's ridiculous the entire time. So his clothes are super, super bad. Even for Xander, his clothes are bad. And Owen gives Buffy his watch, and it's a fucking gold pocket watch, all suave and shit. And Xander looks at his watch, and it's fucking Tweety Bird.
You couldn't recognize fucking product placement. This is how not to do it, guys. In Breaking Bad, you know what they did when they had to promote the Pontiac Aztec? They murdered people with it. But here's a gold pocket watch that looks like it belongs to the White Rabbit in fucking Alice in Wonderland. Why does this guy have this? And of course, there's Christian Dior on it. Right fucking there.
Oh, I didn't even notice that because I don't notice labels. Because I'm not a gay man.
I couldn't pick out a designer bullshit anywhere. I'm actually a big fan of knockoff handbags because I don't know the fucking difference. So,
excellent point.
But it was just so fucking obvious. And then, okay, so she likes this guy, and apparently they have Emily Dickinson in common because he likes Emily Dickinson, and she also has a vagina. So...
Okie dokie.
And she really wants to go on a date, and Giles is like, no, you've got shit to do. And I think she should sort of say, well, if this is more important than anything, why am I in school?
Point. And that's because school happens during the day and vampires come out at night.
Yeah. Anyway.
And I think Slayers might need less sleep? Question mark? Who's to say?
Well, she was a 16-year-old girl, and there was a lot of coke in the 90s, so...
Well, it's true, and, she is white, so...
Yeah, the school I went to had a lot of cocaine in it, so... And we forget that when you're that age, you don't really need to sleep that much.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I wanted to. I wanted to sleep 12 hours a day.
Right, but that's because you had school. But
Well,
if you had to wake up and go to a party, you'd be fine with 2 or 3 hours of sleep.
okay, so at 16 I did not party because I was woefully unpopular.
Uh-huh.
But later in my 20s when I was hugely popular, yes, I absolutely partied till dawn and then went and did my classes and was fine.
Yeah. So.
Yep. Okay, so
They go to the Bronze twice, which is always, and then we have our guest band of the night, which is, I think, Poe's little sister.
Okay.
Or maybe the love child of Poe and Garbage.
Okay. However you wanna slice it. I don't pay attention to the music for the most part until, well, there's one time I did, but you'll see. So the first time she was barely at the Bronze because she walked in Owen Sansom with Cordelia and she like immediately turns on her heel and just
and
leaves that
nobody
shit.
read her for that goddamn fuzzy tiger print hoodie. Are you shitting me? Like it looks like her drag queen friend cut up one of those ugly ass blankets you get at Walmart, and when you have to crash at someone's couch, that's what you get, and it's kind of fuzzy and it's too hot and it's polyester, and it looks like they made that into a hoodie and made the bitch wear it because she had wronged her at some point. No.
This is my vengeance.
Animal print hoodie, no.
Okay, I'm going to go back in time and tell Buffy that, and I'll be right back.
I swear to God, the next time I see something like this, I'm calling the drag queens right the fuck now.
Strap in, sweet pea. Anyway.
I'm trying to like the show. I'm trying so hard, but it fell down so hard on this one.
I want you to remember that they specifically wanted you to hate cast the first season.
Okay,
so
we're hate casting.
Everyone understands that this first season is bad. It's just, remember what I wanted to do where we just binged the whole thing and ripped it off like the Band-Aid that it is? And I was shouted down, I tell you.
I probably would have killed myself, so.
Well, I would have flown up and we would have drank a lot.
Okay, that could have been fun. We probably could have live streamed that. Maybe we should do that for the finale. So
maybe because there's oh man, the next episode there's a world of suck there. Just be prepared.
All right, let's go back.
In fact, we might do 2 episodes just so that we can blow past that one.
Let's dive into this. So. Yeah.
So Buffy is determined to both, save the world and date at the same time. So she brings Owen along? ?
Yeah. So there's some dick waving with Cordelia, but I honestly don't care. And Cordelia.
Oh yeah.
She had crimped hair, which was really. I could actually get behind it. I remember that thing in the 90s, but she only did the outer layer and the front layer too. So it was just, I'm like, it looks sloppy.
In the 90s, I thought that look was so fucking hot. Like,
I thought it's fine if it's complete, but like, I think they fired her hairdresser halfway through. Although I gotta give them props. Buffy's makeup is on fucking point when she's at the club. Like, that shit is blended. I can, it's perfect. It's subtle. That is how you do subtle makeup. So.
Okay. Yeah.
The eyes were a little much, but overall, I give it A+ on the makeup job. I wish your makeup artist did anything else on this show. Direct it, shoot it, write it, market
You're confident in one thing, so maybe you can do everything.
It's
craft
worth
services.
a shot.
She's also a grip. What? Okay, so I had it wrong. The Xander and Willow come to get Buffy because someone's in trouble. And it's Giles, of course. It's always Giles.
And Owen suddenly takes a dark turn and wants to go hang out in a fucking funeral home.
Yeah, let's do this exciting thing where we double date and break into a funeral home. That'll be awesome, because I like death.
I'm sorry, why can you buy a muffin at the Bronze?
Because it's a teen bar, and what the hell else are they going to sell? It's like, have some muffin with your juice. Because, breakfast is the most important meal a day. At 8:30 at night, because you're being naughty.
I feel like this would make a lot more sense if this was a roller skating rink.
Well, yeah, and in the 80s it totally would have been, because that's where you got up to trouble.
Yeah, or an arcade, or I don't know, a mall, some place where kids would actually hang out.
When I was that age, I really wanted to go to a coffee shop and listen to people say bad poetry and someone bring out his acoustic guitar, because that's what I thought adulting was. I've since been disabused of that notion. Oh, and heavy caffeine was like my drug.
Yes. Yeah, you had a crush on Jewel, didn't you?
No, I hated Jewel. Oh my God. I bring her up because I hated her that much. That's why I brought her up so much in the last podcast. But yeah, my best friend had that fucking Jewel album, and I swear to God, if I heard that Hands song one more time, I was going to throw the CD out the window as hard as I could, and it would just fly into some person's skull, and I wouldn't care. So long as it broke.
Yeah, and
I was so angry then. I was an angry, angry teen.
You really were. So where the fuck were we?
Okay, so Owen wants to go along to the funeral home because, death is super deep.
It really is.
Yeah. So they're poking around trying to find, that's what the vampires did. They menaced Giles for a while.
Yeah.
They're poking around trying to free Giles.
And there's only 6 corpse drawers. And I feel like in a town with this much death, there should be more.
So most of the death is pretty spread out. Okay. So, you'll have 1 or 2 deaths a night, which adds up real quick. But it's never like a massacre.
And so Giles hides in the drawer on top of what is clearly a mannequin. You couldn't get a mannequin with arms? I couldn't not see that. It was one of those mannequins without arms, so all I could see was the flat spot where the shoulder ends. Because it was like, oh my God, just crop it out, please.
I really want to watch this with you so you can, point this crap out, because I just gloss over it. I don't even see now. I'm blind to what I don't care about.
And I was so certain that Owen was the anointed one.
Ooh, that would have been a good twist.
Yeah. So I thought that it's, that would have been some plot that I would give a shit about.
Mm-hmm.
But that's not what happened. So they barricade themselves. Well, she rescues Giles, and Willow and Xander are just naturally here because they have to be, and they are getting to be as voyeuristic as Giles.
Well, they came to get Buffy to come and save Giles because they knew they couldn't take on vamps by themselves because they're not complete morons.
Uh-huh.
And then Owen was like, I want to go, and they couldn't tell him, piss off, Scampy. And so, yeah, it's just what's in my head. Let it go.
You're hungry too, aren't you?
I really am. So, well, she is making dinner in the other room. Damn it.
Yeah.
Hot shout out. Woot woot cheat. Anyway, so, yeah, they need to come along to convince Owen that Buffy's just an everyday girl going on an adventurous date with him and, hoping he doesn't see her stake anybody. And he's unconscious when she stakes some things, so I guess that works out.
She doesn't stake him.
She doesn't stake him.
She threw his homeless ass in the crematorium. This Rancho Cucamonga has a morgue that is too small. It has a marble mausoleum that looks like it's been collecting dead people since the Crusades. and it's got a fucking crematorium. Why?
Okay, even shitty towns have crematoriums. I mean,
they have crematoriums in separate facilities. They don't have it in this tiny ass funeral home that in the same fucking room as the morgue drawers. No.
Repeat to yourself, it's just a show. I should really just relax.
Yeah, okay. So
and like I've said many times before, they only have so many sets.
Yeah, I guess so. So, I mean, homeless dude gets tossed in the crematorium, and he seems to be pretty fucking happy about being a vampire. I'm like, oh, go you, dude. You know.
Well,
you achieved your dreams.
The righteous shall arise. He has been judged worthy. He's stoked.
Yeah. So.
Okay. So yeah.
Take me through what's next, because this is all just a jumble of bad acting and incoherent plotting.
I can take over from here. Yeah, it's pretty easy. She chucks him in the furnace, and the day is saved thanks to the power of Buffy. And so she kind of looks at Owen, and he's like, word. And the next day he's like all mad into it. He wants to go out adventuring again and get in fights and do meth and sleep with fallen women. He's a man on a mission to do some stupid shit. And Buffy is like,
I'm sorry, I'm going to interrupt you. The other candidate I had for the Anointed One was Angel. Because he shows up for exactly one scene to tell her to go take care of shit. And he
shows up for exactly one scene to get jealous of her and some, 16-year-old kid.
Angel is not helpful at all.
Well, no, he's never been helpful in this entire series so far. He's just been mysterious and hunky.
All right,
sometimes
where were we?
It's a teen drama. That can be your entire role.
Okay, where were we?
So yeah, Owen's all down with the danger all of a sudden, and Buffy could not be more turned off by that. Like, she says she doesn't want him around because she doesn't want to get him killed by accident, but
I think she wants a normal, boring boyfriend.
Yeah, and yeah, deep in her soul, you see her face. She is just like, oh, yeah, I am a Sahara right now. I don't know what happened, but he's suddenly he's not sexy in any way. His quiet mystery is gone.
Uh-huh.
He's not broody boy anymore. He's action boy. And that's not doing it for her. So she breaks up with him. Yeah. And Giles comes over, and he tries to comfort her in his awkward, non-comforting way by, telling her that, it's your role as the Slayer to do this. And then he actually does something kind of cool and tells her about how when he was 10, his dad came to him and told him that he was going to be a Watcher, and that was his destiny, and there was no escaping it.
Fair.
Did you? Yeah. Did you think anything about that?
I didn't know that a Watcher was a defined role, and there was
it was an inherited role.
Yeah, I thought a Watcher was just someone who's like, hey, I'll stick around and help. I didn't realize it was kind of formalized and institutionalized, and that's not even the right word. It was a destiny thing, just like the Slayer. So.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Well.
So what the fuck does he do if he's a Watcher other than, read about vampires and talk about them? Because I'm not seeing what being a Watcher is other than just, focusing your attention on this kind of bullshit.
Okay, so, you know how in the graveyard in the first scene he was, critiquing Buffy on her fighting technique?
Uh-huh.
A big part of a Watcher's role is to train the Slayer into being a more deadly thing, because we've all seen those guys that are big and strong but can't fight worth a shit. but they're just like big, so they can luck into it about half the time. But once they get in the ring or in the schoolyard or whatever with someone who actually knows how to fight, they get their ass kicked, just brutally handed to them. And that's kind of the thing with Slayers too. It's like, yes, you've got Slayer speed and Slayer strength, but you really need to refine your technique if you're going to go up against the big dogs. So that's a big part of his job, training her to be more deadly, to be able to use more weapons, to think on her feet, to be, just a better killer.
All right. So we'll deal with that then. Yeah. Okay. So his destined role is to help her train and be a better Slayer.
Mm-hmm. That's a big part of it, and the other part really is the books, because you have something mysterious roll into town. You need someone to tell you how to kill it.
Speaking of books, did I or did I not see a book entitled Death Bear on the shelf over her shoulder?
That's entirely possible.
Yeah.
It's an arcane library. What do you want?
Death Bear?
So?
Death Bear?
Bears are inherently
I want a
deadly.
bear. I don't want a death bear.
You can have any bear you want, Sweet Pea. Remember, they just want hugs. Look how cuddly they are.
Oh, Christ. All right,
you hate me so much.
Watcher, Owen's been dumped. Nobody gives a shit about Cordelia. And more product placement, because Xander is very clearly drinking a Minute Maid apple juice box, and Willow is clearly drinking one of those fucking stupid plastic squeeze pop soda water bullshits. And I'm like, good God, like 90s junk food is paying for Buffy's makeup job. Not her clothing. Clearly that shit came from the dumpster behind Marshall's. So.
Oh wow. That is harsh, even for you.
And I went to Marshall's
God.
yesterday, so yeah.
Well, there is nothing wrong with the Marshalls. They have some fabulous deals.
Well, I was out of conditioner, and it was the only place that probably could have had conditioner on the walk home, and luckily it had it. So, and it's you've seen the big red bottles that are like big sexy hair?
No, but I don't have hair.
They're big red bottles that say big sexy hair, and that's the
And I don't look at hair products because I don't have any.
Can I tell my story, woman?
Go for it.
So they had that sort of brand. It was a blue bottle, and I'm like, that font looks familiar.
Medium sexy hair.
No, it was healthy sexy hair. Ooh. And it was the only bottle of conditioner in the entire fucking store. And I'm like, okay, God, I got the message. Fuck you. So I bought that. I bought that bottle of conditioner, and I used it this morning. So.
And how does your hair feel?
It feels like any other fucking conditioner. It's all marketing.
Fine.
So I mean, I know Girlfriend has the stuff with menthol in it that makes me feel like my scalp just,
She's off that stuff. She's on the color safe stuff because I've been dyeing her hair.
Okay. Yeah. So conditioner. How did I get on the conditioner? Marshalls.
Marshalls.
Dumpster
outfits.
Behind Marshalls.
There we go.
Dumpster behind Marshalls.
Okay, so, and that's when we have the big reveal of the Master gloating because, they think they've saved the day, but he's had the Anointed One all along.
All right,
and it's Haley Joel Osment stunt double.
It's Discount Haley. So
Discount Haley, yes!
I really hope, I really hope that this Anointed One bullshit gets resolved this season and the kid gets a stake through his heart, because I do not want to have to pretend that this kid has not hit a growth spurt next season.
Okay. I suppose we'll find out.
So that's our episode, guys. I hate you all.
Yeah, you do.
I thought, like, maybe she was going to go on a date with a guy who was a vampire, judging by the title. And, yeah.
Well,
this really does get better in season 2. Like, there's,
oh my God,
direction.
Sweet Pea, it gets so much better.
Okay.
The jokes get jokier. the villains get less stupid. It becomes really fun. You know how it has moments where, like, there was that one moment where Giles is trying to tell her, it's like, okay, if you lose your secret identity, you could put yourself and your friends in danger, so don't, like, go around talking about this Slayer crap. And she's like, okay, I'll be sure not to wear my button that says, I'm a Slayer, ask me how. Like, that's a genuinely cute 16-year-old, yet funny line. Very sharp Joss humor right there.
Yeah,
and,
I feel the beginnings of Joss buried deep in this dialogue. It's just, it's not there.
Yeah,
it's
second
season
yet. It goes full Joss.
Okay.
And then it's, everything that we expect from Joss. But it's still, those feet that I said it was finding, it's still finding them throughout this entire season.
It hasn't found
moments.
any. It hasn't.
Yeah,
it hasn't even found a severed foot.
Frantically. No, it hasn't. It's still searching frantically for feet, but I promise we'll get there. We just have a slog to go through. So in that vein, I think we're going to do 2 episodes next week just to get through more faster.
I'm going to stop you.
It's killing me. You're going to just do one?
We're going to just do one because I think we have a special guest.
Okay. For the pack?
Specifically for Season 1, Episode 6.
Okay. Do I get to know who this is?
Let me confirm it first. So,
okay. Surprise possible guest, people.
Yes.
Show up.
Unfortunately, we're actually a couple of weeks off because I don't know if I mentioned this on the last podcast, guys. We're banking a couple because money is going out of the country for a couple of weeks to deal with some business, and we wanted to make sure that you guys could continue your watch along.
Yeah.
So we won't be recording this one, the episode 6, till I get back. So I can't answer if the guest will show or has the schedule, or maybe we'll end up doing 2. So I'm not sure, but we'll definitely let you guys know as soon as possible. So, we don't have any new reviews, and that kind of makes sense because we only have 1 episode up on iTunes, even though it was my very concentrated, dark, cold shade for like an hour and a half.
But people seem to really like it so far, so I'm excited.
Yeah.
Yep.
So, if you like what you're hearing, you can become a patron at patreon.com/unspoiled, and you will get access to all of this a couple days early, on our case, 1 day early in most other cases. And you can get your Harry Potter podcast. She just started Sherlock. And if you're a patron, you get access to the patrons only stuff. We are most of the way through Walking Dead Compendium 3 at this point. That's me and Natasha. And Natasha and Maggie Benz V are going to start on some Luke Cage once that's over. So just a whole lot of reasons to become a patron.
What exactly is a Luke Cage?
He's a Marvel person.
Okay, fine. Anyway, keep going.
He's got indestructible skin.
Oh, yeah, the guy from Jessica Jones. Oh,
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. He is a big hunk of man.
He really is.
Yeah, I don't mind watching him. He's pretty.
Yeah. So that is why you should become a patron. And also, if TV shows is not your thing, you can listen to Natasha cover The Dark Tower, and I already mentioned Harry Potter. She's just finished the 6th book, and she and Rashawn are going to start the 7th one, and I am as well. So.
I can't wait.
You sound excited. Yeah, but
so much.
There's also the book club. So
Yes.
We've had a lot of different books covered. I think there's been 5 at this point. So, the next book is what was that person who wrote this book, and what was the book called?
American Gods by Neil Gaiman.
That's the one.
Which also happens to be my favorite book.
Really? You should do a podcast on it.
I think I should. Maybe. If I ask Natasha real nice, she'll let me be on that podcast.
And it's already happening, guys. So if you like bitches, join the book club. Read American Gods and listen to bitches talk to Natasha about how amazing this book is. So Unspoiled is a great family to be a part of.
It really is. It's super fun. I've made some fantastic snarky friends because I needed more snark in my life. There's never enough. And we just have some really great conversations. They're super, super fun. So seriously, get on the bus, become a patron, join the Unspoiled Secret Clubhouse. It's super fun. Let's see. Do you have any other plugs other than your standard Natasha needs more patrons?
I have no other plugs.
Okay. I'm going to very quickly say, hey, if you're in LA around Thanksgiving weekend in particular, come on out to the LAX Marriott and go to my convention. It's not actually mine, but I work at it. And it's LostCon. It's a big nerdy sci-fi convention. If you like this podcast, you will love LostCon because you can stand in a room with a bunch of other nerds who've seen all the same TV shows and read all the same books as you have a drink, and maybe have a fantastic conversation that's going to change your life. Or, have your theory that Tigger and Rue are biologically related confirmed. Whatever happens, it's all good. It's a good time. So come on out. That's all I got, folks. Thanks, bunch.
All right. Well, that's our show, everyone. If you like us, become a patron, leave us a review, and the cleverer you are, the more dramatic my reading of that review will be. So.
He can be pretty drama-filled at times. It'll be good. Just do the thing. Mm-hmm.
That's racist.
What? I hate you so much.
All right. Bye, bitches.
Bye, money.
Bye.
Bye, listeners.